And we are live. How is everyone doing, guys? How are we doing, legends? Let's get right to it. Today should be a relatively quick live stream. And when I say quick, I mean maybe just a couple of hours. But it will not be a marathon of a Friday live stream. That is for certain. Because in the community, a lot of you guys voted no live stream. And that is perfectly okay. But since the majority voted for a live stream, here we are. I think people sometimes prefer the video updates, which is totally fine. But I have to keep it real with you. The video updates are very much higher time frame. And what this means is a lot of what I talk about in the videos remain relevant for quite a long time. So let's just pull out the chat here. We'll do a bit of a pop-out chat. And we scroll through. Open up the trading tab. So let's go through it. Let's go through it. Yeah. This is let's talk about a couple things. Let's talk about a couple things because I had a rough period for sure. For sure. But here's the thing. That's part of trading, right? One of the worst things that you can do is go all into positions. There are too many people, I still think, that are overly aggressive with their trades, particularly in this kind of environment. You know, the title of this live stream, guys, is Will the Relief Rally Continue? And it is a valid question. It is a very valid question because a lot of people don't know, and that is myself included, right? We need to see how this price action develops to be able to see whether or not we can actually get a little bit of a push higher. So let's go through some of the comments as we kick off today's live stream. Let's go. Good morning, Luis. Hello, Lymph. Happy Friday, people. Darren Mitchell. I don't know why we voted for a live stream, says Cheese Bubbles. Look, I was gonna find it very difficult to create a video today. The live stream, guys, it's more chill. We can spend time together. We can look at the charts. We can discuss potential higher time frame scenarios. I can get through some of your comments. It's a little bit easier in terms of thinking of what we can discuss. When it comes to video updates, I really want to make them jam-packed and concise, and I understand that a lot of you prefer that, but the reality is if I only do the video updates, sometimes from day to day nothing has changed, especially because I'm a swing trader, right? So let's go through it. Glad you're coming online. Thank you, Nick Tooney. I appreciate you. Hello, boss. Hello, everybody. Rick Ty. Today, bloodbath. Oof. Let's see. Yesterday we had a spike up to $65,000, right? Only the real people will stay. Too many butthurt people because of 2 wrong calls. Now they voted no. And this is exactly the issue with having a group in the way that I have it. You guys see my multiple 6-figure Bitcoin trades. Everything's still performing extremely well. I am still very much net profitable. I'm making tons of money on the way down. But what happens is some of you end up joining the community. And if a couple of trades go wrong, if you went all into your positions, then you get absolutely smoked. And that's how it works. So the stock market just opened. So let's discuss this. A little bit of dumpage here. but this is pretty choppy price action. So today we want to discuss whether or not the relief rally has concluded. And my answer is it's still too early to tell. We have seen that in previous cycles, what actually happens is Bitcoin usually tops out between the end of July, which we're currently at, into mid-August. Did we already start our descent? And to address one of the questions here, if we scroll up here, someone said, good morning, Krypton Dawn. Did you close the short you opened last week on stream? No, I did not. So you can see here that this is my account on BTCC. I have a lot less capital on here, but this trade I've secured $15,000 in profit, but I'm still holding on to just under 10K unrealized. I want to maintain this position, guys, because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, this could have been the perfect local top in the market. Check it out. We took this trade on stream and within the community. I took a short perfectly at the anchored VWAP. Now, I'm a little bit annoyed at the fact that I took some profits from this trade when this was starting to look a little bit more corrective rather than impulsive on the way down. And that's what it was looking like on the lower time frames, but then sometimes price action develops a little bit differently. So this would have been an even bigger position. Unfortunately, it's not, and I just have to contend with that. But yes, I'm still holding part of this trade. I'm still holding my Bitcoin long from the lows. I am. This one we entered at $58,000. You probably know this by now, especially if you're into the community. I'm still holding my Bitcoin short from just under $80,000. Again, the reason I do this is because my higher time frame analysis is still the same in the sense of, you know, whether we get this pop up or not, my expectation is that Bitcoin will be moving lower. And the question is, does it stem from here, end of July, or do we pump a little bit into August? Because it's obvious now that July will indeed end green. So we're currently up 9% in July. This is standard bear market price action. We've discussed this at length. We get these summer relief rallies. This was expected. So we got the summer relief rally, and now what? And now what? Because typically in bear markets, we start to see some more drawdowns starting from either beginning of August or mid-August into establishing that bear market low. And that's currently what I'm still looking forward to. Someone says, wrong in all caps. I'm surprised my bot didn't kick you out for writing in all caps. Jose John, the only thing that makes trading legit is TA, positioning, and risk management. If you can't set a stop loss, and then you're just gambling, and that's all you. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a net buyer of Bitcoin at the 200-week moving average. Yep, perfectly valid zone. That's right at basically where we're currently at, $63,500. Let's see. Bought SanDisk around 1,000 and sold it for a $10 move. Should have held longer. I mean, you guys want to talk about Macron? Leave a comment if you want to talk about Macron. I'm happy to talk about it. I left a little bit of a post-mortem in my community. Some rumors, BTC doesn't want to go down even if everyone believes it should. Thank you for taking the time to be on stream. My pleasure, man. I hope everyone has a lovely Friday. I was way too all in, and last night with that wick up, I was stressed. Leveraged 100x short. Crazy, man. I will most definitely be surprised if Bitcoin goes to 50K. So Manuel here is a little bit more bullish. Okay. I used to only like the videos until I realized the value of the live streams. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, and I think that this is something that a lot of people have come to realize. Look, The live streams, I have my analytics down on the left here. The average viewership of the live stream is approximately 20 minutes. So the average person watches the live stream for like 20 minutes. And that's totally fine. You don't need to stick around for 6-7 hours. And sometimes we get some funny comments that say like, are you kidding me? A 6-hour video? I'm not gonna watch this. Guys, you don't have to. And if you only want the videos, you have the videos on the channel. That's what we're here for. We provide the video updates and we provide the live streams. Yesterday's video is my exact strategy for the rest of the bear market. And I really mean it. I went over what I think could be happening and how I plan to trade it. If that's all you want to watch, go for it. That's why I provide different kinds of resources so you can use that and take advantage of it. Now you have to remember that, one, I'm not a financial advisor and nothing that I discuss on the channel should be construed as financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. And if you want deeper insights as to my logic behind trades, why I do what I do, when I enter my trades, when I win trades, when I lose trades, all of that is shared within the community. So if you'd like to join, remember, you do have the first link in the description down below. If you DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram, you're able to join my private group. It's where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. Now, I got an interesting comment this morning from Steve Roberts that I wanted to address. He says, I've now officially lived through a complete cycle. What an absolutely boring, uninteresting, emotional experience it's been. If the cycle bottom is the first week of October and the peak is around August 2029, which, you know, usually it's Q4 of the post-halving year, but okay. I honestly don't understand why crypto exists. No challenge, no mathematical genius, no strategy, no game, just boring. Guys, trading is boring. And if this is an issue, if you think that crypto is boring and there's no challenge, I have to ask you the question, why aren't you a multimillionaire yet? If there's no challenge and it's just ridiculously easy, everyone would be filthy rich. So this is an intriguing comment, and I can definitely resonate with what's being said in terms of it being boring, because for the majority of this bear market, we've just been shorting all the relief rallies. If you're in the community, you know this. Every single relief rally I've added to my short position in this market, which is currently up just over 600K. Now, I've also taken profits on the way down, but guys, if it was really that easy, everyone would just be filthy rich. But what I'm trying to get at with the content that I'm producing is, why fade the historical data that we have available if it continues to play out so similarly? I may have exaggerated when I said it's a carbon copy in my latest video, but the point remains that it's about 80 to 90% accurate. It's baffling to me how accurate the cycles are. It's just 3 years up, 1 year down, and that's it. And we are getting closer to the end of the bear market. So it's time to mentally prepare yourself, because I personally think, and this isn't financial advice, that the good times are going to come. This is coming from the guy that's been accused of being a perma-bear over the past year, but I hope that me being bearish over the past year has saved you some capital. That's what I'm trying to do with my channel. Guide you through the market through what I am personally doing. A lot of us are here every day. MU turned Rick Ty. What did Rick Ty say? Where's my man? Odd Orion says, I appreciate your content, but it is a bit annoying that you're both confident and accurate in your trades, yet you feel the need to explain yourself thoroughly to strangers on the internet. The thing is, guys, when I explain myself on the internet, I explain myself in a way where I try to make it as simple as possible to understand, because I know that there's a lot of people that need that kind of guidance, where it's like I explain things like almost like you're explaining to a toddler. Because at the end of the day, if a toddler can understand what you're trying to say, then you end up helping the masses a little bit more. So I'm not trying to prove myself, and in fact, I have had some trades that haven't worked out. Recently, I longed hype. That trade got invalidated. Recently, I longed Macron, and I want to bring it up again because you guys know I am not afraid to talk about the losses that I take in this market. You guys want to see something? I entered a Macron long trade because we tapped into the anchored VWAP, and I'll give a little bit of a retro here on the live stream for those of you that want to hear it again. For some of you, it's painful, but I entered a Macron long trade because we were always going to get a bounce from this zone, and we had a very significant bounce. The issue is I entered at 749. No, 700 and... No, I entered higher. And we had a nice pump on the lower time frames into the anchored VWAP. This was the sign to get out of the trade because we had confirmed the loss of the anchored VWAP, although I was very confident that this zone would provide a significant bounce in the market. And actually, if I managed to hold on to this trade, my profit target was hit. So this is one of the trades that I lost out on. It's unfortunate, but this is what happens sometimes. We had a loss of the anchored VWAP, and I just want to explain the thought process here. But I was hopeful that we could get a reclaim of the anchored VWAP. But the time to actually get out of the trade, because I entered right at around 779, when we had this pump, I was literally up just under 20K. Then, going into the daily close, we rejected massively from the anchored VWAP, popped much, much lower, and then we had a big move to the upside. So this is one of those trades where the analysis was sound. The analysis was correct. We were going to get a significant pump from this zone. Unfortunately, I should have just waited for this gap over here to be filled, because when it comes to the stock market, these gaps do tend to get filled, and the probabilities of the gap getting filled increased massively once we got rejected from the anchored VWAP. This first confirmation below, after getting that initial bounce, was it. So it is what it is, guys. When I say I'm taking 1.5% risk on a trade, I am taking 1.5% risk on a trade. My big Bitcoin short that you've seen me constantly talk about on the channel, that one is my biggest trade that I've taken in the bear market by far, and it was 5% of my trading portfolio. I had a lot of confidence in this one, and here we are today, and I plan to maintain this position. Matt, this was my trade on MU. Check my previous comments. Get some testosterone. Yes, even the best traders lose. Guys, all YouTube streams are about engagement. Good or bad helps the channel. That is true. Jay Beers, what did you anchor your VWAP to? Mikal, sorry I'm late, my man. So the anchored VWAP that I took, if you're asking about Macron, the anchored VWAP that I took, remember, you can take an anchored VWAP from the start of a period or from a significant pivot in the market. So I'd use this tool here. You go anchored VWAP, and I was taken from the low that we established right at the beginning of March of this year. This was a significant drop in the markets, and this is where I took my anchored VWAP from. You handle your Macron loss very well. It actually taught me how to deal with losing trades much better. I'm glad that that helped you out. That's why I'm going to try to do more retros, win or lose. I think it's good because you guys get to see how my thought process develops. A 50K low for Bitcoin is just wishful thinking. Balance price is 38K. Guys, if you haven't watched my previous video, and I know some of you haven't, I need to be honest with you. It is probably the most valuable video that you can see in terms of what my mindset is for the next few months. It literally covers the next few months, in my opinion. And in that video, it's this one right here. This is my exact strategy for the rest of the bear market. I talk about multiple things like where Bitcoin could potentially bottom. And legends, one of the things that we discussed in that video is the fact that you don't want to wait for a hypothetical bottom below 40K. You see this guy, Nama Rupa, says a 50K low for Bitcoin is just wishful thinking. Balanced price is 38K. I understand where he's coming from because the balanced price on Bitcoin is actually below 38K. But here's the thing. Despite the fact that in every single market cycle in the bear markets, Bitcoin has tapped into its balanced price and it's tapped into its realized price, things don't always have to play out to perfection. So from a trading perspective, of course, you need to be a little bit more accurate when you're going for swing longs and swing shorts. However, from a spot portfolio investment perspective, I am not going to wait for sub 40K. Because what if we don't hit sub 40K? Can we hit it? Is it possible to hit it? Absolutely. It is definitely within the realms of possibility because we know that Bitcoin typically drops less and less every single market cycle. And even if we are to drop less than the previous market cycle from bull market top to bear market bottom, it ends up suggesting that we can actually make it to sub 40K. But I will not wait to start dollar cost averaging. And in my community, we already have some members that have started to accumulate Bitcoin sub 60K. We've been calling for a sub 60K on the channel since Bitcoin was literally 6 figures. And now that it happened, people are scared to buy. I'm not telling you to buy. I'm just telling you what I will personally be doing. And I am looking forward to accumulating some cheap Bitcoin, but I will not wait for a sub 40K. That does not make sense in my opinion. The idea is you have a certain amount of capital and you're willing to allocate into the market as we head a little bit lower. That's at least what I will be doing. Not financial advice, as always, but that's how I will play it. And I will also look for swing longs once more, like we did within the community from the 58K low. Check out the 250-week simple moving average on the weekly if you want the last 2 times the bottom was hit perfectly. Currently 45K. Very interesting. Yeah, we don't have any mods in the chat today. Where are the mods? So we have Mustafa saying, how much capital does one need in order to turn it into $1 million for the next bull run? Very, very Good question. And it's not a question that I can really truthfully answer because I don't know. I don't know, guys. I am not one, if you've been following me for a while, I am not one to give you unrealistic expectations. And what that means is I am not one to say that you're going to turn $5,000 into $1 million in the bull run. Can you do it? Is it possible? Sure, it's possible. But you need to be realistic, guys. You need to be realistic. I will continue to trade the market. I hope that in this bull market I can make multi-million-dollar trades. That's the plan. But I'm already using a significant amount of capital. So have you got another one from the swing high? Jay Beers, I'm not sure what you're asking, man. From which swing high are you looking for? So now we're breaking below the downtrending anchored VWAP. Hey Mets here, thanks for another great live stream. Do you have any thoughts on a possible long entry? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, let's go to the 4 hour to kick us off from the range that we're still in since the beginning of June. We broke down below the point of control. We did not tap into the value area high, but right now, structurally speaking, the signs are there for further drawdown, as Purchase Media said. Because we create a high, we create a low, we create a high, this is a lower high, we create a lower low, we create a lower high. If we lose 62.7K, further drawdown can come, and my next potential long would stem from the value area low. Guys, these relief rallies in bear markets are very, very tricky. That's why you don't see me adding to my existing long that much or at all. I took the long at 58K, I sat on my hands, and I secured around 60K in profit while I'm maintaining the rest of the position. It's too difficult to look within this range, really. There isn't any super high confluence zone. Perhaps a double bottom at 62.7 for a little bit of a reaction for a scalp, but really I'd be looking at the value area low. I like somewhere between 59 to 61K for a long that is. Otherwise, I maintain my existing positions in this market. You've heard me say that time and time again. Still learning the value area high and the value area low and the VWAP. I used to just rely on bear bull flags and fib zones. Thank God for CBM. My man, purchase media, they're very helpful. You guys want to see something crazy, which we talked about before? Look at this last relief rally before we had a significant move higher. This is why I'm still okay with a potential bounce. And I'm not just immediately calling for lower. Don't get me wrong. Our community members will likely be in some very, very nice positions if price just nukes. If price just nukes, I will be one of the happiest people in the world. I mean, this trade is just going to continue to make money on the way down. However, I don't want to ignore the possibility of a bounce. But the closer that we get to mid-August without a significant bounce, the more and more likely it is that that was the top of the relief rally. So in the last relief rally, what actually happened is we popped up to the value area high and we dropped almost 15% before popping up again. So just for context, guys, pop above the value area high. We've only dropped 6% at the 62.7K pivot. So it's not even that big of a correction. We are still range bound right now. Bitcoin is range bound. This is boring price action. And as Nikita, present sir, take my attendance. Jose John, ugly, choppy, unpredictable relief rallies. And that is exactly how we've been describing it. Ugly, choppy, unpredictable relief rallies. It is what it is, guys. That's why when we came to sub 60K, I wanted a long position because I don't want to mess around in here. Yeah, this is not easy to trade, guys. But hitting into a high confluence zone, sub 60K, for me at least within the community, it was an easy long trade for me. And I just stay in that position, guys. So now we wait and see. If you want to join the community legends and you want to see how I've been trading this markets, remember, first link in the description down below. If you DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram, you're able to join my group. It's where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. Win or lose, all my trades are shared within that community. It's a community where you're not paying a monthly membership. There's nothing like that. You trade with your own capital. I would highly recommend you join if you're not already in there. On top of that, if you do join the community, you get access to the premium version of MindPillar, which is the tool that I use from a spot portfolio investing perspective to help me get those good entries. And on the lower time frames, we have things like the footprint, which is usually a paid tool. And we also have this CVD chart, which also has the liquidity for you, so you can measure out the liquidity as you're scalping. This is one of my favorite tools in the market. In terms of the liquidation map, I'm sure we have some shorts that have jumped in. Yeah, it's looking very, very interesting. I would absolutely love to see a squeeze to the upside. I would love to see a squeeze to the upside. But I don't control the market. I am not the market maker, guys. When do you start accumulating spot Bitcoin? We've already discussed this in the live stream, my man. If you want to know exactly, I would highly recommend you watch my latest video. It covers literally everything. Man, do I just... Maybe I should pin this video. Could be helpful. Look at that dump, man. Let's go through some comments, legends. Let's go through some comments. It is a bit of a more chill live stream. I would imagine that it's going to be 2-3 hours. Normally we rip it a bit longer, but it is Friday, and half of you were saying that it's... Here it comes to the point of control again. Okay, let's go through it. Is this liquidity rotations amongst different class of assets? I mean, yes and no. The stock market in general leads the way. If stocks dump massively, so will Bitcoin. And we've discussed the possibility that the next low for Bitcoin might materialize on a stock market correction. So if you haven't been watching the content, guys, the stock market can experience a correction, and right now what we're seeing here looks a lot like distribution at the top of the range. This takes a lot longer to play out, particularly because there's trillions of dollars in market cap in the stock market, so it's never really just boom, straight down. But this is starting to look weak, and perhaps the drop for stocks leads to a great buying opportunity for stocks. In my opinion, of course, not financial advice, but this can coincide with perhaps the next Bitcoin low. Hello, should a new trader without any open trades just sit on their hands right now? Yes. Yes, exactly. That's the thing, guys. I genuinely don't want you guys to overtrade. There's a lot of people in the industry that will always say, buy, 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 buy. You need to buy Bitcoin now. Sell, 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 sell. Guys, sometimes just sit back, and if there isn't a trade to be taken, there isn't a trade to be taken, and that's it, right? Do you plan to buy any altcoins from a spot perspective? I'm very selective about it. What I would be looking at would probably be ETH, Hype, and that's it. A lot of you have asked about Solana. I think that Solana's period of outperformance is over, but we've talked about this before. Measure Solana against Bitcoin, and you can see that it looks like we've peaked for a very, very long time. And what this basically just means is I'd rather have my money in other assets. Versus ETH against Bitcoin could maybe be making a higher low. Crypto bull BTC, yes I can. Yes I can. So we've talked about this, right? I will film some tutorials, but yeah. Codename says you will get wrecked when you trade often. I agree. That's why I am a swing trader, guys. That's why I'm a swing trader. I try to take highly probable positions, and that's it. TR Sam, much love, my man. I just remember before the bear market, all the TA and price action played out very cleanly. All the signals on the charts were very clear. Now it's all mixed price and just zigzagging. Yes and no. Yes and no, because from a higher time frame perspective, if we really zoom out, guys, the price action has been abundantly clear. Lower highs and lower lows. So from a swing trading perspective, this is the weekly chart for Bitcoin. This has been pretty clean to trade. So, you know, we've been really shorting on the way down, guys. That's what I've been doing in the community. That's why I've been so comfortable. That's why when I take some small losses on my trades, I'm never going to say the losses don't matter, but what I will say is they are pretty insignificant in the grand scheme of things, because if you're already up multiple six figures on a trade, I mean, you're not that stressed in this market. This has been a relatively stress-free bear market in the sense of we've been catching the meat of the moves on the way down. So I'm happy with how we've been playing this. I really am. And in the community, every single short trade that I've entered, shared publicly. If you guys want to join that community for when I start to flip long, because it will happen, make sure to DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram and you'll get access to that group, amongst other things as well, like the Mind Pillar tools that I have been using time and time again for my analysis on the live streams and in the video updates. Hey Matt, good to see you. Good to see you as well. Bro, love all you do for us. Curious how your friends and family react to your trading success. I genuinely try to avoid talking about it. Like, if someone asks me about what I do, I just say I trade and kind of just keep it like that. They know that I'm doing well for myself, and that's it, right? You keep it like that. There's no need to flex. There's no need to talk about it at length. Because the thing is, if your friends and family find out that you are regularly trading the markets and you're making consistent profits doing so, then all the questions come in, like, oh, how do I do it? Can you teach me? I want this for free, blah, 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 blah. It's just a mess. So all I say is, I trade crypto, I'm doing pretty well. That's it. I keep it pretty chill. Nikita says, I was watching someone from Country Trading NQ. He says he likes the adventure, the stress of intraday. His goal is to not even make money. He just wants to hurt himself at this point. That's so funny. Guys, I'm not a scalper, right? I'm not an intraday kind of guy. But right now, at this very moment, Bitcoin is getting a nice reaction after sweeping the lows. Let's see. From a liquidity perspective, we know that a lot of longs have been jumping in. But we know that shorts today have been pretty aggressive. So I actually like this. I like to see this. This tells me some more chopping at the bare minimum. On the 7-day, there is more cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market with that massive cluster at 65. On the 1-day, there is more. On the 30-day, pretty even, guys. So maybe we wipe out this low. On the 90-day, there should be more shorts now. There is technically more shorts on the 90-day. 180-day, there's more shorts as well. So pretty interesting to see this. Legends, if you want to see what my next trade is in this market, how I operate from a swing trading perspective. Win or lose, all of my trades are transparently shared within my community. Make sure to join. First link in the description down below. DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram if you'd like to join my private group. If you're already trading on some of these exchanges, like BTC and Kraken, we can transfer you under my referral and you're good to go to join the community, which means you don't have to make a new account. Got in at 62.5. Hype is holding strong. Thanks, Matt, for sharing the details on MindPillar yesterday for the group members. My pleasure. Some of you were asking about Kraken. Guys, it's a little bit of a manual process, and it takes some time, unfortunately. So it's because they're a new partner on the channel. Era Taz 1. Can you trade for me? Questions. Can you trade for me? Questions. Can you trade for me? Questions. I'm assuming you're asking if I can personally trade for you, and the answer is no, because I can't give financial advice, and that's that. Rocky, still waiting for the confirmation on Telegram. Rocky, are you on Kraken? I'll look into that immediately. What do you think of the weekly bullish divergence? Look, I think that these things take a very long time to play out. My base case is still that Bitcoin will go lower. Lymph Pro, exactly. Exactly. I actually think that for me at least, the next potential longing opportunity where I would consider maybe adding to my existing long from 58K would be at like the 60K zone. I think that that could be interesting. So like right here. So the value area high, one of you guys were asking, it's at 65.7. 65.7. I don't think that we just get the, like, some of you guys are panicking, and the reality is we're still very much range bound. I don't think that this is the day where we get a massive dump, to be honest. I think that's maybe, like, if we do drop, I am looking for a new opportunity to potentially long. But we did sweep up some pretty nice lows here. Some of you said that you entered a long at 62.5. But I still think that there's a chance that we push lower here. So we swept the low. So far, you want to see how this 4-hour candle closes. Yeah, usually the Kraken, guys, Kraken in general, if you're already trading on Kraken and you want to join my community, it takes a little bit longer because it's more of a manual process. I love your calm and confident. We are all freaking out, guys. Look, there's two things. One, freaking out in this market serves you no purpose, because basically what ends up happening is you get wrecked. You don't need that kind of emotionality when it comes to trading. But two, I'm keeping it real with you. One of the main reasons why I am so calm in this market is because I do have massive positions to the downside. So like if, and again, some of you will say, man, you're just showing off. But the reason I talk about this is because it's been shared in the community every single time that I went short and added to my position and took profits. So the thing is, if Bitcoin just nukes, I'm very, very comfy. I would like to make this a bigger position, but I have to say I'm very, very comfy if Bitcoin just nukes. But I don't think it will yet. So that definitely helps, right? Yeah, so here's the thing. This is funny. This is funny. I love these kinds of comments. So if you just long the bottom and short the top, you will always be right? Absolutely not. That's not the truth. But if you've actually been tuning in, because I haven't really seen your comments that much, maybe twice on the channel, or maybe this is your first comment, Mika. But basically, my higher time frame analysis has always been this. So the entirety of the bear market, we have been bearish in the community. I've been calling for lower, calling for lower, calling for lower, shorting, 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 taking profits at the recent lows, and then adding on the relief rallies. My base case is still that we're going lower, but when you hit a high confluence zone, like the 2024 value area low, that's where I went long within my community. It's not about being right or wrong, it's about making money. And the way that this works is if Bitcoin does continue pumping here, I can make money on the way up. And with that money, I can add to my short on the way down, assuming we can go down once more. A reminder, guys, all my stop losses are at break even. So what this means is I have realized profits and unrealized profits. I am currently playing with the unrealized profits. But I've already paid myself, and that's what I try to educate you guys on in the community. I take profits on my trades. I don't just wait for Bitcoin to have a $40,000 correction for me to take profits on my shorts. No, I've been taking profits on the way down, re-adding, taking profits on the way down, re-adding on the relief rallies. So it's not about being right or wrong, it's about making money in the market. That's all it is. So I hope that makes sense. My pleasure. My pleasure, guys. I want to have a trader mode on MinePillar, but there's no Kraken. Yeah, Kraken has to be manual. If you're a big trader on Kraken, we can get you that access immediately. For the sake of the live, can you pick an altcoin based on the votes of the other viewers and just enter a super small position with it? What do you mean? Really? Some of you guys love trading alts. For the sake of the live. What altcoin is the most interesting right now from a volatility perspective? Let's see. You guys let me know. I don't like altcoins, guys. I've been vocal about it. I've been very public about it. Yeah. I'm gonna check, and everyone loves talking about alts. This is funny. Here we go. Here we go with the alts. I guess I asked you guys for your alts. Guys, I'm sorry, but ADA looks like shit. Little Friday gamble. Banana. You know how we love our useless alts. Bank, H-bar. I'm still surprised that ADA has such a strong community. It's just, like, it had its time. Let's not kid ourselves. It performed really well. But it's over, in my opinion. You guys remember how I like to compare altcoins to Bitcoin? This is ADA on a monthly time frame compared to Bitcoin. And so is many other altcoins. Guys, give me an altcoin that's actually on an uptrend against Bitcoin. How about that? How about that? And we'll take a look at it together. Not this. Anything. I saw Adam as well. Give me an altcoin that is on an uptrend. Oh my gosh, this looks even worse than Cardano. This looks terrible, guys. I know hype is one of them. That's one of the reasons why in the bear market I'm looking to accumulate some hype. Because this is much more constructive. Right? This is much more constructive. Let's go through it. Oh man, I saw Litecoin. Guys, why are you interested in these shitty altcoins? Oh, let's look at Litecoin against Bitcoin. I know this is going to be, I'm ready, guys. I'm mentally preparing. This is going to be a hideous chart. Guys, keep in mind, this is the monthly chart. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Imagine holding an asset for 6 years and it just continuously underperforms Bitcoin. All right, let's go through. TRX is an interesting one. Yep, so we'll put that one on our radar. TRX, Uniswap, Tron, yes, TRX. Uni looks artificially pumped. Damn, can't think of one. Well, exactly, guys. That's the thing. That's the thing. It's hard to think of one because most altcoins, and this is what I've been trying to educate you on the channel, most altcoins over a long enough period of time bleed against Bitcoin. So if you're going to trade the altcoin, let's say you're trading an altcoin specifically for a 2-month period, you want to have some kind of confirmation that that altcoin can actually outperform Bitcoin. Otherwise, you're taking more risk for less reward. I know a lot of people liked Sui. I was actually interested in this one for the cycle. But look. What are you meant to do with this? We have Tron. I don't understand why Tron outperformed Bitcoin. Genuinely, I don't understand either. BNB. BNB and Tron and Hype. Check it out. Check it out, guys. This is what you want to look for. BNB. Is your coin outperforming Bitcoin? On a monthly time frame, it's not perfect, but it is still up. Now, I would suspect that this is eventually going to roll over, but it is better. This is a better looking chart than most charts, right? But I'm getting the vibe that this could be a top here, and maybe we could start our descent. Because BNB has been holding up against Bitcoin for quite some time, and all altcoins over time end up bleeding against Bitcoin. Let's take a look at TRX. Wow. That's impressive, guys. That is impressive. That's very impressive, guys. This is good. This is some good, like, right? Measure your altcoin against Bitcoin. XLM. I don't think that this is doing that well either, is it? I thought that this was bleeding against Bitcoin, no? Am I wrong here? No, guys. Now this is a pretty bullish, this is a nice monthly candle in December of 2024. Or sorry, in November of 2024. But yeah. Guys, I think this is going to pain a lot of people. If I chart Chainlink, I think this is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yikes. The charts never lie. Ugly, 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 ugly. I wonder how we are not considering Aave, this, and hype. Aave has insane fundamentals. True, but the price action always comes first. And if you take a look at Aave's price action against Bitcoin, it looks exactly the same as every other altcoin. Look, there's probably going to be one of these that I'm charting now that ends up popping off, and then we've hit the low of a potential multi-year range. This can happen. We come back up, and these are the kind of coins that you want to be able to identify, ideally relatively early, but without putting all your eggs in that basket. There's too many people this cycle that just jumped into a gazillion different altcoins. And we've been around talking about how altcoins will continue to bleed against Bitcoin, and it makes sense to literally just stick with Bitcoin. We've talked about this time and time again. Okay, I think we no, I can't take it. Making money is why we are here, not singing around a campfire being broke. I completely agree, guys. I'm here. The purpose of what I do on my YouTube channel is to try to guide you through the crypto market so you can actually make informed decisions in this market on your own. And members that have joined the community have given me that kind of feedback, that it's been extremely helpful. Even if some members don't take the trades that I take, the idea is you can formulate your own opinion of the market based on my analysis, and it helps you out and it guides you to be not just a better trader, but also a better long-term investor. That's what I want to do here. And if you guys are, just looking for high leverage scalp trades, maybe my community isn't for you. Aptos guy, I don't even have to look at the Aptos chart, my man. If it's bleeding against Bitcoin, I'm not buying it. Holy smokes, we dumped? Yes, we did get a little bit of a dump here, guys. Yeah, Zcash got a little bit of outperformance, but it could just be a lower high, right? I don't know if this is the top. I have no clue, but it was still in a downtrend. VVV is a new coin. This is so strange, Legends. I mean, there's not much data here, but I would expect this to continue bleeding lower. There's not much data here. Weird. When have you guys ever seen me chart alts? What's going on, guys? It's a weird Friday, isn't it? Isn't it? Codename says alts already got hammered. Can't stay bearish on alts. I tend to agree that, and here's the fundamental issue. Too many people held alts all the way down. And if you have capital, like now that altcoins look absolutely horrible against Bitcoin, this is when I start to get a little bit interested, because this is when all the community members give up and they hold altcoins at a 90% loss. That's when someone like myself swoops in and buys a bunch of altcoins. The same altcoins that have been promoted at their Pico tops by other influencers in the space. So that I see that as an opportunity for myself, but I don't really talk about it that much because I know that a lot of people would maybe get butthurt because they've been holding alts all the way down, hoping that you get a bounce. And then here's the thing, because your entry, like let's say you enter a couple of alts here or a bit lower in the bear market, you can still get those 500% rallies, but it will mean nothing to the people that have basically held it 99% down because you were just bag holding, right? Jessica, seems like a Bitcoin pump incoming. Appreciate the honesty. My man, thank you for tuning in, Codename. I don't know if this is a new account of yours or you're new to the channel, but thank you for tuning in, guys. Fat Elvis is asking, all this interest in alts might be a signal of some sort, eh? Maybe. Matt, I have to go. Still a little long from 62.5. I wish you and everybody a great weekend. See you on the next stream, my man. Yep, Legends, we do. Some of you were asking about my schedule because it got a little bit... my schedule got a little bit mixed up this week. This is my schedule. Typically, Monday, Tuesday live streams, Thursdays live streams, Wednesday video update, Friday is video update or live stream. Because we did a very long 7-hour FOMC live stream on Wednesday, I decided to do a video update yesterday instead of a live stream. And then today we do a little live stream ahead of the weekend, and we should be back on track next week. But FOMC kind of puts a wrench in the summer schedule. Bitcoin is trying to hold here, Legends. Let's see. I may disagree with you though. At some point in August 2022, I was holding decent big name alts, and I thought that they are at the bottom. A month later, they did bleed even more. Yeah, guys, that's the thing. Altcoins can bleed 99%, and then they can bleed another 80%. It's insane. Salute, Matt. Salute. Matt, are you still looking for the Bitcoin relief rally to 70K-ish? After today's correction, do you think we topped? So I'm not giving up quite yet. I would look to add to my existing swing long if Bitcoin taps closer into the value area low. And I'll take that within the community. But this is a pretty key confluence zone. We would grab tons of liquidity, and I think that it could be interesting for another potential pop-up. But for now, I have to say I'm holding my long. I've made some profits on this long, and I've incurred a couple losses over the past couple weeks. Still holding my Bitcoin short. This one is currently up a total of just over $20,000 in profit. And now we wait and see. We wait and see. I'm not giving up on it quite yet. The structure is starting to look not great, obviously. But it is what it is, right? We wait and see. We're patient. We're patient. And if you want to see when I take my next big trade in this market, remember you do have the first link in the description down below. DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram to join. It's where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. It's a group where you trade with your own capital. There is no paid monthly membership. It's not one of those kinds of groups. You just have to trade with your own capital. What about ETH? I'm highly interested in ETH. I think we could be forming a higher low against its Bitcoin pair. How come you don't have a Discord? Because I prefer Telegram. Telegram is more private than Discord. I don't know if you guys have been in Discord communities, but what typically happens is you join a community and then you get a bunch of scammers that start trying to message you on Discord. I prefer Telegram because in my Telegram group, so in the Telegram group that we have, the one that I've been talking about, the one where you trade with your own money and it's not a paid membership, in this group, we have approximately 1,400 members. Now, it's a group where you cannot see the other members in the group. So this keeps this kind of like privacy thing. So this is why we've had some members that have been, very comfortable trading with multiple 7 figures in the group as well, multiple 6 figures, because the only analysis that you see is my own. It's me sharing my own market thoughts. Right? So it's not a group where your contact information doesn't get leaked. No one can message you. And I kind of like it that way because it's my own thoughts in the market. And it's also because it's not like a paid membership, I feel less compelled to need to, how do I say this? Force updates when sometimes there just are no updates. There's no noise in my group, basically. That's what I'm trying to get at. There's a lot of scammers on Discord. There are some scammers on Telegram too, but because your contact information and how you access my Telegram group is very private, no one can message you and no one can, target you. Any thoughts on making community groups so people can chat and share ideas? Well, that's the thing. I'm a little bit worried about that because I know how many people have gotten scammed in other communities, and I'm just worried. I like the way the group is structured because the thing is, I can answer people that are trading with more capital. I answer their questions much sooner. They become part of my premium priority folder. However, when I do the live streams, I'm interacting with you guys, right? I'm interacting with you here. So And you guys can interact with each other in the chat as well. That's how we do it. Macron is dumping. Should we revenge short it? I'd rather not, to be honest. No revenge trading from me, guys. No revenge trading. I'd highly recommend you join the community. If you're tuning into the content every single day, I think it makes a lot of sense. I honestly just never message you because I don't want to bother you, says Gemma Gov. Look, it's fair. And there's a lot of people that message me, and unfortunately I just can't answer everyone. But that's like, you can still feel free to message me. I just cannot guarantee that I will answer it. At the end of the day, legends, there's thousands of Telegram messages coming in every single day. So I've prioritized based on overall trading capital, right? And otherwise, what happens is sometimes I go for like, just sharing it with you guys. Sometimes I go for long walks and I'll scroll through my Telegram messages. And if I see Micron, yeah, my bad. I keep on saying Macron, but it's Micron. But basically, I'll scroll through some messages, and if I see a bunch of reoccurring messages from community members that aren't in the premium group, then I try to address them as a whole in the group because I think it could be helpful for everyone. That's my version of answering people, right? Yo, I'm late. What's going on? Bitcoin is dumping, but we're trying to hold here. Magic. What do you consider a threshold for big trading capital? So the way that it works, guys, again, my community is not a paid group. It's a group where you trade with your own capital. And when you trade with your own capital, you also get access to all of these great tools that I'm showing you on the channel, the premium version of MindPillar. It's what I use to trade the market, but also from an investment standpoint in crypto. And we're building this out to be the best possible tool in the market. But what I consider big capital is I have 3 tiers. I have 25K plus, I have 100K plus, and I have 500K plus. So naturally, the more capital that you're trading with, the more that I am inclined to answer you sooner within Telegram. So that's how I prioritize my folders. And the more people to join, the higher the threshold. At first, the biggest folder was basically the 100K plus, but now that we have quite a few community members that are trading with multiple 7 figures, I've added a new folder where I basically answer these community members much sooner than others, and that's just how it works. Aside from that, you don't need a gazillion dollars to join the group. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I am trying to say is, in terms of how I spend my time, in terms of impact, that's how it works in terms of answering people. Otherwise, I answer here on YouTube. I have a feeling Math is going to announce Telegram today that he's opened a new long. Are you long or short right now? Anisha, I am both. I am shorting Bitcoin from higher. This is still my big trade that I've been holding for some time, and I am longing Bitcoin from lower, looking to potentially add to this position. It's Friday, folks. Take a break from crypto trading. Put the phone down and enjoy life. This is coming from a 50-year-old here. Dustin Prince, my man. You're largely correct. If you're already in some nice positions in the markets, no need to overtrade on this Friday. How are we feeling about the price action, big dog? I think this is constructive to hold above the 60, this one. Nice sweep, but we need to see some follow through. It's getting a little bit dark. All right, I'll go open those curtains. One moment, legends. Can you talk about how you manage your leverage versus stop loss? Absolutely. So basically the stop loss or the invalidation of a trade is the percentage of my portfolio that I'm willing to lose. So let's say I take a Bitcoin long and the trade doesn't play out. My stop loss is that percentage of the portfolio. So for example, if I have a $100,000 portfolio and I'm risking 2% on a trade, that would mean that I'm willing to risk $2,000. So I could potentially lose $2,000. That's how I structure it. Most people, when they hear 2% of trading portfolio, they don't calculate it based on the stop loss, and they do something different, which is not what I would recommend, guys. It's not what I would recommend. It's the potential loss that you can take. Can you do a poll? Yep, absolutely. Let's do a poll. I want to know, is the local top for this, maybe I'll just call it top, is the top for this summer relief rally in? Let's see what everyone thinks. $50-50. Yeah, Bitcoin looks like we could be sweeping the lows again. You know, we're kind of just creating these wicks here. This looks relatively weak. This looks relatively weak. Up to anything exciting this weekend? Yes, so I'm gonna watch some tennis. I'm gonna probably play some football, and I am traveling a lot this weekend. So should be fun. Should be fun. Hanging out with some friends I haven't seen in a while. It's Will Anderson. There's no clear direction. I tend to agree. Right now, it's not very clear. We're close to 50-50 if on the top of this summer relief rally. UT Lord, I am no longer in Spain, but you guys saw those videos, right? Absolutely crazy. Hey Matt, how are your entries so precise all the time? Can you explain your process? So usually, they're like, who is she? Oh, I'm in the background. Yeah, it's okay. Can you guys see my background? Are we gonna see you with a buzz cut when the bull market starts? Probably. She doesn't want me to get a buzz cut. She likes the curly hair. I took a scalp long at 62.5 now that the 1 hour RSI is at 20. I usually don't use RSI to trade, especially on the lower time frames, but higher time frames it can be okay. Call the cops, bro. There's someone in your kitchen. How much further down do you think Bitcoin will go? It really depends, Matt, if you're asking me about the bear market bottom. Meow says, it's funny how in North America football is played with hands and handball is played with feet. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Guys, when I say football, I mean for the Americans out there, I mean soccer. I think that it should be just called football, guys. It's you're kicking the ball. And I've hung out with tons of Europeans. Nowadays, a lot of my friends are Europeans. So yeah, football. Sorry, the way that I enter with such precision is I mark out the level well in advance. So for example, this 2024 value area low was marked out, thank you, was marked out when Bitcoin was like up here. And I was always expecting some kind of reaction. It's not perfect. Guys, I didn't get the perfect bottom. You can see 58,100. The perfect bottom would have been 57,700, right? Something like that. I was close, but from a swing trading perspective, that is good enough for me. Now this top here, that one I have to say was absolutely epic. We had everyone getting excited about the Clarity Act pump when the first time around, when we had like tons of people getting overly bullish, and price was starting to look like it was exhausting itself, and we kept on forming lower highs, and I was expecting a dump from here. This was a very, very good entry. I'm happy with my execution on this Bitcoin short trade, which I'm still holding, right? So it's just looking for high confluence zones, and I mark them out before I actually enter the trades. From a swing trading perspective, oftentimes you just wait for your levels to be hit, and you've already mentally prepared to take the risk on that trade. And so when it comes to actually entering the trade, there isn't much of a, I don't want to say there's not much of a thought process, because that's just a lie, but the thought process and the strategy and the planning occurs way before you enter the trade. And so that was my situation with Macron. So you guys know I recently took a loss on Macron. I was waiting for us to tap into this level since we were like at 1,000, and I pointed it out to the community. Guys, I'm probably going to look to take a long at Macron if we dump into this level. And it was just the lower time frame entry that was poorly executed, in my opinion. That's it, right? But we did get a massive bounce. And I wish I could have played this bounce, because from the low to the high, we literally pumped 25% with leverage on Bluffin, because you can trade Macron on Bluffin. That's where I incurred my loss. It was a great zone, and I had it marked out way in advance, but it was the lower time frame that was the issue there. But it's okay. I move on to the next trade. And this Bitcoin short, I mean, these ones I've been adding to this position on the way down. So you can see my average entry is like 79,000, but that's only because I've been taking profits, adding. I think I first started this trade when Bitcoin was just below $100,000. And all of these trades were shared within the community, guys. Every entry, exit, every win, every loss, everything is shared within the community. If you want to join, you know where to find me. Just DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram. It's a community where you trade with your own capital and you're not paying any kind of monthly fees or anything like that. That's not how it works. It's not a monthly membership. It's you trade with your own money on any of these exchanges and you're good to go. You can join the community. Yeah, Ganesh, exactly. I was actually talking, Ganesh is part of my premium folder. I was actually talking to him, and yeah, he messaged me in the morning after my Macron loss, and he's like, dude, you had a great call, but it was just a little early, We literally hit my take profit zone. What can I do, right? Brilo says, I'm shorting Macron from these levels personally. Yeah, I mean, after a 25% pump, it's probably okay to look for shorting opportunities, speculating on a lower high. Absolutely. But the pump that we got, I can't say I perfectly predicted it, because if I did, I would have made money on it. And you guys know I'm honest with you, right? Like, a lot of guys will say, oh, this trade, we could potentially bounce, this, that. Okay, but did you personally take the trade? I have a couple of times in the community where I'll mention key confluence zones and members will take a trade. And, you know, if I miss the trade because I'm traveling or something, then so be it. But Micron, sorry guys, Micron. I need to get that ingrained in my head. So what is your thoughts on the Tau price? Are you still shorting? Legends, you can see here on my Bluffin screen down below my active positions. I am still shorting Tau. We have not hit my next take profit zone yet, but I've secured around 60K on that trade. That was also shared within the community. That would have been a cracker of a trade. Yeah, man. It would have been a cracker of a trade. I'm pissed. It is what it is. And I am really, particularly because of my positions in the market, I am like the last person that dwells on trades. Usually if I take a loss, I move on. Like you saw with Hype. I took a loss on my Hype trade and I just moved on. But with this one, because of how beautifully it played out afterwards and that the technical analysis was correct and I just didn't take advantage of it, it pains me, but it's okay. The market has unlimited opportunities and we take advantage of these opportunities. You guys want me to check gold? Let's take a look at gold. I think gold could be an interesting one because I talked about where I would consider potentially longing. We're kind of just chopping here. I mean, there's not much to do for me here with gold. William Sadler, good morning, Matt. How is life going? I hope everything is well. Life is going great. Thanks, man. Khalil, even your invalidation soft stop loss was on point, but I guess emotions made you close the trade. Khalil, not at all, man. That is inaccurate, man. My soft stop loss was hit. My invalidation was a daily close below the level, and we got a daily close below the level. Therefore, I had to close the trade. So I'm not sure what you're referencing, my man. But if my soft stop loss wasn't hit, I would have still been in the trade, man. Absolutely awesome, UT Lord. Aside from your videos, if you had a course teaching TA and your trading insights, that would be awesome. I'm working on it. Do you think the summer relief rally is in? Do I think it's in? Is a top in? Very hard to say right now, but this is starting to change. The structure is not pretty, suggesting that we could move lower. We just made a new low. Now, is this just a sweep? I'm personally interested in the value area low. Yes, bluffing does not require KYC, I don't think. It's one of my go-to platforms, guys. If you want to join Bluffin, also, guys, there's a ridiculous bonus on Bluffin right now. Check this out. So if you go in the description down below, you see here how you get 25% off your fees and a $500 bonus on Bluffin. That's if you sign up with that link. However, if you join my Telegram group, so DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram to join, you'll see an option to be able to sign up with Bluffin within my Telegram. And if you do that, and you're already interested in trading on Bluffin, you actually get VIP 3 for 7 days. So that's a 30% fee discount. That is exclusive to new people that are joining within my funnel on Telegram. So if you want access to this and you're looking to get onto a new exchange, you want to make Bluffin your go-to exchange as I have it, then I would recommend you just DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram. It's a ridiculous bonus. And usually these kinds of 30% fee discounts are reserved for traders that are trading with millions of dollars. So pretty solid, pretty solid. And you get access to these deposit bonuses as well. Um, Matt, why do you even try to trade some alts? You have a systematic approach to Bitcoin and you're making good money. Bitcoin is the only asset that has a specific cycle. I mean, yes and no. I have made tons of money on alts as well. Because listen, if I sometimes, if Bitcoin pumps and altcoins are structurally bullish, let's just say a specific altcoin, that specific altcoin can pump significantly more than Bitcoin percentage-wise. So I like to dabble with alts. But as a general rule of thumb, I always risk way more on my Bitcoin trades than I do on my altcoin trades, because alts are just notoriously more unpredictable. Do you think hype is worth longing now? Interesting. Look, it is a zone. It's a general zone that can hold. But the more and more that I look at this, the more and more that I think, okay, maybe this is looking like distribution. So even if we get a pop, I think that hype will ultimately bleed lower in this bear market. That's just my best guess. So we can get a bounce from here because it is a structurally important zone. But I still think that this moves lower in the bear market. Costa says, stop eating. Costa, I'm hungry. It's almost noon here. It's almost noon and I haven't eaten anything. So excuse me when I eat my yogurt and granola. I actually think SpaceX could be interesting. Are we, like, I haven't checked on it. Damn. It's like it gets these bounces and I think it'd be so cool to time a great bounce, but everything just bleeds lower. It's hard to justify entering a big position on this when it could just continue to go down, right? The trend is down. So you're fighting the trend. This was a generational short. My apologies. Best to buy sometime after December. I think December might be too late. King David. Or you're talking about SpaceX? Maybe, yes. If we're talking about crypto, maybe a little bit earlier. Moro says SpaceX is looking like some random altcoin. It is. It is. Matt, how come you don't use pitchforks or Bollinger Bands or RSI, any other indicators when trading? I do use some indicators and they're on my charts, but I don't, guys, the thing is, and we've talked about this before together, any trading strategy, any indicator can actually work. It's just about how consistent you are with it, if you can find an edge with it, and of course, your risk management. So if I already have a strategy that works, I don't need to add more confusion to the charts. If you find something that works, you stick to it, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't need to add more things like that. Hey Matt, I just joined with your Bluffin link. Not seeing the bonus. Why is that? There's definitely some terms and conditions. Yeah, so you have to maintain. You have to contribute to taker volume as well. It's not like you instantly sign up and you get it. This is how all the exchanges work, guys. You have to contribute a little bit to taker volume. So you need to already get into some trades. I believe that's how it works. I'm just reading it. Yeah. Makes sense. Trading. Yeah. Actually, I need to see if this is renewed. I'm gonna check. Let me check with Bluffin and get back to you, man. This beat is hard. Watching you eat made me hungry. There's a 2-week window for Bitcoin to go higher, but it's got to go up massively each day. Time is not on Bitcoin's side. I agree with this comment, guys. I do agree with this comment. I agree with this comment. Time is not on Bitcoin's side here. I'm still trying to catch up. About 10 to 15 minutes to go. Matt, your thoughts on XRP, please. Luke TV. I think XRP is a shit coin. Just my thoughts. You asked for my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. Although it holds up. It has held up a little bit better than other alts. It's still pretty ugly. Kind of just like it kind of just oscillates. I still think it's, yeah, centralized, like not a fan. Not a fan. Lionel for King, hey Matt, love the lives. I took a short at $66,800 on approximately a 500K position size. Nice, man. That's exactly where we took the short within the community. I'm not sure if you're in the community, man, but if you aren't, I would highly recommend you join, because we do have premium access as well to myself if you're trading with size. But I closed entirely when stop loss got threatened. I hate myself because I often have A+ entries but don't hold. Advice? The general advice that I give when I get a question like this is, were you risking too much capital to begin with? Because if you were risking an amount of capital that you were able to maintain and you're comfortable losing on an invalidated trade, then you should have just left the position open with your invalidation. But the issue that most people have is if they enter a massive position and they're just very, very scared because they're risking way too much capital, then they can't hold through the invalidation, because it's like the stop loss or the invalidation is at a level where like they would be devastated to lose that trade. And so they end up closing early and they end up freaking out. So I think it probably has to do with maybe the overall position that you took. Not financial advice, guys, but this is generally what happens. If you took smaller positions, of course, it means smaller profits if the trade works out, but it also means that you can handle the losses. And the name of the game of trading is to stay in the game. If you wipe out your entire account, unfortunately, there's nothing you can really do after that. You have to build it back up, and it's a devastating process. It's happened to me in my trading journey as well. So risk management is the most important thing. How about closing early while in profit and not following through the entire TP? Mr. Kaloy, what I do in this case is, you can see my positions are open here. On my Bitcoin short that I took within the community, I secured just over 440K. Now, I've been taking profits on the way down. So I've had multiple TP zones. I've actually added take profit zones. But the idea is you always take some profits. This way, if the trade reverses, you're not devastated, because you know that, okay, I still took advantage of this opportunity, at least partially. And taking some profits does allow you to maintain a position to full TP, because you already know that, okay, worst case scenario, I've taken some profits already from this trade. Another question, when you add to a position, you move your stop loss to a new break even. Under what? I need to understand the context, guys. I don't really understand that. Oftentimes, what I'll do is, if I'm in a big trade, I'll use some of the profits to add to the position. And I'll have a further invalidation. Aditya, what's the biggest loss? Multiple six figures. Hi, Matt. How much percentage of perp trading portfolio do you say is okay from one's overall portfolio? So in the bull market, I was actually sitting between 3 and 5x of my trading portfolio. So my spot portfolio was 3 to 5x larger than my trading portfolio. However, in this next bull market, I'm probably going to be 1-to-1. So what this means is I'm allocating a lot more capital to my trading portfolio. I like to keep it that way because I've been making money consistently trading this market. And I think that as long as, you know, my edge continues and I'm enjoying trading the market as a swing trader, there's no reason for me to not take advantage of it with a little bit more capital. But I would never go below 1-to-1. And I'm not sure if you're asking about stock portfolio too, because I completely put that into a different basket. Looks a little dumpy. It does, guys. It does. Bitcoin looks a little dumpy here. So I'm still going to hold my short. How is the CVD looking? This bearish CVD divergence played out. We could have some more bearish CVD divergence. People are longing this. Interesting. We got some longs in here. Looks like it wants to roll over. Legends, if you're already trading with me, you get access to the tools that I'm showing you right here. It's a awesome one, and we're going to keep on building this out to be the best possible tools for traders and spot portfolio holders. Darren Mitchell, no news, just a bear market. Yeah, valid. Someone says, Matt, 90% the top of the relief rally was in and now really ugly chart. I do agree that the chart is looking pretty ugly, but I have seen crazier things before, guys. I'm maintaining my existing short in the market that was shared in the premium group. And yeah, I'm pretty damn comfy, my friends. I should be doing some tutorials on the Mind Pillar charts, guys. I will do that, I promise, at some point. Your music sound is off. Shouldn't be. Still dumping. 30 minutes until the 4-hour close. Do I plan to close my long soon? I would be willing to add to my position once before I close it. But I've already made 60 on this one, and it was shared within the community. I'm looking to take advantage of it if we can get another bounce to the upside. But for now, I have to be honest, this is the kind of day where it's like, no trade from me, guys. No trade from me. I'm in my massive swing shorts. I'm in a little bit of a Bitcoin long from 58K. I'm in another Bitcoin short. I'm in another Bitcoin short from literally the perfect Pico top, the anchored VWAP. So no complaints from my side, guys. All these trades that you're seeing were shared within the community. If you'd like to join, you know where to find me. First link in the description down below. Just DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram if you'd like to join. Dun, 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 dun. Getting a little bit of a bounce from this zone. This is going to be a significant SFP zone. I think that if we can maintain above here, there's always a chance that we get a little bit of a squeeze higher. The other thing to consider is in terms of liquidity, we have a nice big cluster up here. A lot of shorts jumped into the market today. Downside 1.2 billion, upside 3.6 billion. This is also available on MindPillar, guys. Rick Ty, with open interest, we have to look at, we also have to take into account spot and leverage trades. And that's something else that we're looking to add to the footprint. I think it could be interesting, and it makes the data a little bit more clear. Pump it. Bro, no, no. Ba-ba-da. So if this is to play out, we get the pullback and then we get another squeeze higher. If this is to play out. But let's see. Let's see, legends. Let's see. Otherwise, maybe that's it. Amadeus, someone already answered you on that topic. It was a key confluence zone at the 2024 value area low. That's how we managed to go long in the community at $58,000. Right now, Bitcoin is trying to hold this zone, legends. This is a pretty significant zone for us to hold if we can manage to do so. Since Bitcoin has dropped a lot and now there's tons of shorts, do you think we will have a short squeeze at the start of August for the first week? I did some trending and it looks like the first week of August always has a small pump. Honestly, it's possible. It's possible. If we get tons of people jumping into shorts, then it makes it more likely. Can't wait for the bull market to come. It's almost there, legends. I'm joining the community soon, mate. Yes, Luis, you asked me just now if you weren't in a trade, what would you do? And it's probably not the answer that some of you want to hear if you're watching me on this live stream. But I have to say, if I wasn't in a trade from this point on, which you guys know I am in 4 active positions, I probably wouldn't enter a trade for a little bit of time to wait for more significant confirmation. I mean, there's always a chance that Bitcoin pushes lower on the higher time frames and then gets a more significant bounce, right? So why can't we just capitulate to 45K and be done with it, buy our spot and move on? Because life isn't easy, man. The bear market will test your patience over and over and over again. And because this cycle, this Bitcoin bull market cycle, was characterized by less volatility in general, we're also getting less volatility to the downside. And what that basically means is we're in a period of time-based capitulation. So basically, that just means that price will bore the crap out of you and it will slowly trend lower with some bounces along the way. That's why we took the long at 58K in the community, because this was a zone for us to get a significant bounce in the market. The 2024 value area low. David, I think you asked me my bias for the end of the week. I think we're probably going to hold around here, to be honest. Maybe another little push up, but you know, it looks pretty set in stone that the weekly candle will be red. We usually don't get that much volatility this time around at this period, guys. So don't overcomplicate it. So we have a lot of people now saying, or 53% of the audience says that the top of the summer relief rally is in. Still waiting for access via Kraken Pro. The link you sent for joining the group is out of date. Can you please update? Frank, sounds good, my man. What's your opinion on treasuries like BMNR? Tom Lee has been buying ETH like there's no tomorrow. I think that ETH can actually perform well in the next cycle. However, I am not someone that likes these treasury companies. I think that Tom Lee is grossly overpaid. I think I read somewhere that he earns $50 million over the span of 4 years or something, regardless of how his fund performs. I think that it's just baffling how he's been given this opportunity. But anyways, same thing with Saylor. I think that they could be a lot more strategic about their buys. But in general, I don't like buying these treasury companies because I'd rather just own the underlying asset, whether that's Bitcoin or Ethereum. If you believe that Bitcoin or Ethereum will appreciate, then why wouldn't you just get that instead of the treasury? Can the treasury get more volatility to the upside and to the downside? Yeah, it's possible. But as a general rule of thumb, I'd rather just own the underlying assets. Cali Compiler, my father enjoys watching you while he fights cancer. He is interested to know what I'm doing with my life now that I left my job with the government. Nice to see him staying busy learning. That is awesome, man. That is very inspirational, and I hope that your father has or is able to get back to full health very soon. Thank you for your comment, Cali Compiler. Do you consider adding to your long under 60? Yes, I do consider it. Pump is next week in anticipation of signing the Clarity Act, makes retail foam win, then dump it hard so institutions have no competition, in my opinion. Maybe. What specific combination of indicators would you convince you that the bull market is genuinely over? It's not indicators. It's either if Bitcoin just absolutely nukes, like let's say nukes to 40K very quickly, I would say that that's enough price-based capitulation for me. If Bitcoin slowly bleeds, then so be it. You have to be open to anything. But realistically, if we start to get weekly closes above like this zone, like 82, 83K, to me that would be a pretty good confirmation in that sense. But ideally you start to get closes above just the 200-day moving average, which is all the way up to $71,500. Did you enter long? I am in my long from much lower. Hey Matt, how many hours will you live stream today? Almost 2.5 hours. Yeah, I mean the FOMC live stream we did 7 hours, but because it's Friday and I have some plans and we were contemplating maybe even skipping today, I could push for a little bit longer, but it probably around 3 hours or so. Ledges, if you want to join the community and see how I've been trading this market, remember you do have the first link in the description down below. This is where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. So when I'm not publishing content on YouTube, a lot of the times my entries are shared within my community way before I post a video or I go on the live stream. That's how it works, guys. This is where I share my own trades and my overall market analysis. Win or lose, everything is shared within this group. Thanks for being here, Rick Ty, my man. Of course. Da Vinci, we already addressed that, man. We've already addressed it. Do you also trade metals and oil? Sometimes. Gold hasn't hit the high confluence zone that I'm looking for. Oil... Oil looks okay. Yeah, Legends, how are we doing from a like perspective? 195 likes. Make sure to absolutely destroy that like button if you're enjoying the stream so far. It's a little bit of a chill Friday stream. We're questioning whether or not the relief rally is over. Let's see. Not sure what you're saying, Amadeus. Gabri Ferreira. Hello, comfy guy in his shorts. How are you doing? Just got here. What is your view? Is the relief rally over 50K we go? I'm not willing to say that quite yet. I think that there could be some more continued chopping around. So if we look at historical bear markets, either we top out around now, which wouldn't be abnormal, or we can push up a little bit higher going into mid-August. In 2018, what happened was we pumped all the way into end of July and then we dumped starting in August. In 2022, we pumped all the way into mid-August and then we dumped. So it's a bit tricky here. It's a bit tricky. Perhaps this is just a pullback before pushing higher, but at this point, I want to see how the price action develops because I can't give you any answer with confidence. That's why I'm positioned accordingly in the shorts. We're also in the long, and I'm willing to take another long attempt if Bitcoin can drop a few more $1,000. May I ask which cryptos you hold spot and what the allocation is? I hold 99% Bitcoin. But as soon as I start buying some more spots, cryptocurrencies, I will be letting you know in the community as well. My community is my priority, guys. If you want to see how I've been operating in this market, make sure to DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram to join my private group. It's where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. We need that comfy shirt, Matt. Says Macau, that would be very, very nice. I need to create some merch. That is true. The bear market bottom sometimes moves forward a month every cycle. Ever so slightly. I mean, that is true. So maybe the bottom is in September. That's why I'm saying, guys, it's more about where the price is actually at. I'm not going to be waiting for a hypothetical October or a hypothetical sub 40K. I just DCA in when I think the time is right, and that's that. And I'll share it in my community as well as the trades that I take. Wow, that's impressive, man. I really like your mindset and your conviction about Bitcoin. I'm invested 80% in Bitcoin myself, and the remaining 20 in Solana and Ethereum and smaller altcoins, says Bitcoin Bro. So I don't have anything against these other cryptocurrencies. It's just that in general, Bitcoin gives you most of the upside of the crypto market while minimizing your downside risk. So from a spot portfolio perspective, especially with these other altcoins, I mean, from the bull market top, I'm not gonna hold altcoins that generally trend near zero in a bear market. But if I think that we've started to establish a bear market bottom, I might dabble a little bit more, and it probably won't be 99%. For the most part, I am a leveraged swing trader. So I like swing trading this market, making money on the way up on the bounces, making money on the way down while I short, and then I take that capital and then I allocate into the market as well. So that's basically what I do. I also allocate into the stock market and things like that. So stock market leveled off and Bitcoin is going steady now. ChatGPT suggested bull begin late 2026 and most likely 2027 start of uptrend. Would you rely on this AI? No, guys, I would not rely on AI to make my decisions in this market. Absolutely not. You need to be able to do your own analysis. You can use AI to help you do your own analysis. That I would recommend, but just because AI says that a bottom is on X date, it doesn't mean that the bottom will be on X date. Juventus J says, hi Matt, I'm planning to go full-time trading. How do you pay yourself as in withdrawals? So what I do is I have a certain amount of capital that I'm willing to risk in my overall trading portfolio. Whenever my portfolio exceeds that number, I withdraw from my account. And that's basically how I do it. So I'm content with the amount of capital that is being used for trading. And once it surpasses that amount, I withdraw regularly. So I don't exceed that, if that makes sense. Since I'm not trading myself, I'm exclusively invested in spot and I'm trying to generate gains with the 20% to accumulate more Bitcoin. Cool. What do you think is going to happen next week? Maybe we get a little bit of a cheeky push up. Bro, look at the kind of comments I get, guys. Bro, can you suggest if this is a good level for low leverage long-term Bitcoin long? Guys, by the way, if you type in all caps, you're getting blocked by my You're getting blocked by my bot. We don't tolerate that here, guys. Come on. Dang, still live, my man. What happened with those cold wallets? Saw a headline on CMC saying 500 Bitcoin gone missing. Absolutely insane. I read that as well. You know the guy, Zach XBT? I think he was saying that the best way to store your crypto is maybe with just a separate iPhone on the side, like a completely unused iPhone. What about the weekend? Guys, weekends are notoriously difficult to predict. If we pump, we tend to retrace. If we dump, we tend to pump after. So it's a bit tricky. I purchased coming in late. No, Purchase Media has been in here since the beginning, but he kind of comes back and forth. Beast, didn't answer my question. My answer to your question is if you ask questions like that, you're not going to get an answer. But in general, I think that Bitcoin trends lower. Macau, nice plan, Rick Ty. I'm also shorting from exactly 66,660. Yeah, like in the community, we took this short. You can see here right at the downtrending anchored VWAP when Bitcoin was at $66,800. That's where I entered my Bitcoin short. And you can see how perfectly we respect these levels. Check this out, guys. We wicked above it by an extra $100. But the average entry on this Bitcoin position is literally $66,800. So pretty solid, pretty happy with that entry. Purchase Media, want to buy you a beer one day, Matt. We're moving out our company to Dubai soon. UK is cooked. Would be cool. Absolutely awesome, man. Yeah, let's do it sometime. Awesome. I missed the tip of yesterday's wick sleeping, but I managed to enter a late short, luckily. Nice. Nice, guys. What's up, my man? What's up, guys? Mohammed Dawad, hi brother, joined. Why is Bitcoin going down today? Any major news event happened? Guys, just because Bitcoin goes down, it doesn't mean that there's any major news event. Bitcoin is going down because that's what price action dictates it. Like, that's how price action is dictated. Like, I think everyone always looks for a reason why Bitcoin goes up or a reason why Bitcoin goes down. But we're structurally in a bear market, legends, and we can reject at any given moment. Beast, you spammed in caps, and you're the one telling me to relax. Which altcoin do you think will do better in the next phase? I am putting more money on Solana. Will it beat last all-time high? In my opinion, no. In my opinion, I don't think that Solana is a good call for the next bull market. I've said that before because I think that its period of outperformance against Bitcoin is probably coming to an end. So I think that I'm not saying it won't do well, but what I am saying is I think that there's other coins that might do better. I'm a software engineer and I recently created an app for myself to both visualize a wallet by its descriptor, multi-sig with mini-script as well. Everything works, and another completely offline to sign. Nice. When are you going to do a tutorial on MinePillar? I will let you know. Bitcoin's getting a little bit of a move up here. US national debt crossed 40 trillion today. Is that so? I like this website. It's pretty cool. But so far it says not yet. We barely looked at the site for 10 seconds, not even, and $500,000 gone. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Check this out, guys. Can I trade the US debt? Oh, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it, guys? You just enter the biggest long of a lifetime. How likely it is that Bitcoin is going to 12K? Very unlikely. I would say that there's under a 5% chance that Bitcoin goes to 12K. Those are my thoughts. I don't think we're going to make it anywhere near there. I am watching from India. Is it the right time to buy Bitcoin for a long? Guys, Maddie, are you any good at ping pong? These are the questions I like. Purchase media. I'm filthy at ping pong. Love it. Love it. Let's see. Hey Matt, just found you today. Been in Bitcoin since 2017. I like your style and the rules you have for your community. I am in Bitcoin and mostly, but ETH will be the winner with tokenization of DTCC, in my opinion. I actually think that ETH can perform well. I'm more like, don't get me wrong, guys. I pay attention to the fundamentals, of course. But what I like about Ethereum is that we dropped massively against Bitcoin. And in general, there's a case to be made that we're forming a higher low. So I like this. I think it was the Coinbase one that I was eyeing. In general, I like this. Literally in the bull market, Ethereum was dumping against Bitcoin. We had a period of outperformance. And can Ethereum go lower? Yes. But I think that ultimately we have a period of outperformance. Hopefully, assuming monetary policy can be a little bit better. I like ETH structurally against Bitcoin. By the way, my man, if you're new to crypto, or if you've been trading crypto for quite some time and you'd like to join my community, I'd highly recommend you do so. It's a community where you're trading with your own money. I don't have like paid membership. I don't offer this. It's not like a monthly fee. You're trading with your own capital. So if any of these exchanges are good ones for you, I'd recommend you join, man. We also have the option for Kraken and BTCC, which basically lets you keep your current account if you're already trading on there, and then you can join the community quite easily. No need to make a new account. Naga Chaitanya, Matt, I have not much of an idea of trading. How long would it take to learn what you do for someone who has very good control and emotions? All has to be learnt is the rest. Well, if you have the emotional side sorted, that's most people's biggest issue. It's the psychology, it's the emotions involved with trading, right? Trump is speaking on the White House YouTube channel live stream. All right, guys. Let's put Trump on then. Let's see. White House. Is he saying anything significant? Let's put him on for a little bit, guys.
I mean, he thought this was the most incredible person, and then when he lost because of me. I endorsed somebody else, and as soon as I endorsed the other person became a rocket ship upward, and he lost. And you know, I think I'd be the same. But would you I shouldn't say that, but I'd be upset also. And so I fully understand it. He shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't be that way. But he is that way. He's become a very angry person, and I understand. You have a couple of others that have caused their defeat too, and you know, probably hear from them too. Yeah.
Mr. President, that's not wrong. There's a report that you got a proposal from the military to go big and hit them hard over 10 or 14 days.
We're going big.
Are you going to consider?
We've already gone big. Look, I mean, what's big? They had 159 ships. That was their entire Navy, 159. Their entire Navy is naval. See, I'd say that's going big. They had 200 airplanes, they're all gone. Every one of them. They're not one airplane. They had anti-aircraft weaponry, very good, but it didn't work. And it's all gone. Their radar is all gone. Their leaders are all gone. Everything's all gone. But they'll fight onward.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, you said the other day that you're not sure about whether to grant Ukraine the Patriot missile license that had been discussed. Do you want to see more from Zelensky before you take that action?
Well, it's a big step. Look, we have the greatest weapons in the world. We have the greatest drones in the world. People don't know that. We have the greatest weaponry in the world. We have, in the case of President Zelensky, he'd like to have some Patriots. He'd like to have some Tomahawks. which are, lethal, one offensive, one defensive. But when you give somebody the right, very complex weapons, by the way. I mean, the Patriot, as an example, the other day you read that 5 missiles were shot. They were going 8,600 miles an hour. Think of it, 8,600. Now a car, if you go 60, it gets to be a little faster. If you go 100, 8,600 miles an hour. And they were big missiles. And they were shot at Jordan. And our guys were there. Bing, 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 bing. 5. Bing, 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 bing. Right? I don't want to be minded. 6. I had to be very careful. That would have been a great soundbite. Right? There were 5 missiles, and we shot all 5 down before they got close. Nobody else has that capacity. These weapons are incredible. We have to be very careful about letting somebody build them. It's very important now. We are building many plants now to make those, and the Tomahawk missile is the most incredible thing. It can go into a doorway. You can put it through a window of a house. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. You have to be very judicious, but you have to be very careful. Now, we have not agreed to that. We're talking about it, but it's a hard thing to give away that kind of technology. And I don't think this would ever happen, but there's people that you give that technology, they can someday turn on you. That is possible. If you look at war, it's happened a couple of times over the years, right? So we have to be very careful. I mean, we guard that. We have the greatest military in the world, but we have the greatest weapons in the world. Now we have to make them a little bit faster because we've given a lot away. President Biden, unfortunately, gave a lot away to Ukraine. And and so did I. I mean, I gave them the javelins, the tank busters. Without the javelins, that war would have been a one-day war, would have been over. They wiped out the tanks going up to Kiev, where they got stuck in the mud. They had a general that decided to go through the mud instead of going up the highway where they were going very nicely. It would have been over. But no, I gave them the javelins. The javelins are unbelievably. We have the greatest weapons in the world. We have to be very careful about giving out the secrets to those weapons. And they're not, you can't copy them. It's a little like NVIDIA. They have a chip. They say you cannot copy it. The complexity is so great you cannot. Most things you copy. China's known for it, other countries, we do something. And I guess we copy also. Most things you can copy pretty easily. There's a chip that they made, their ultimate chip, and they always have the ultimate chip. And I say, well, why doesn't somebody copy it? Because they can't, the complexity. They can't copy our weapons. We have the greatest weapons in the world, many of them. Those are just 2 or 3 that I mentioned, but you cannot copy them. So we have to be very careful.
As Hamas disarms as part of this plan, who do you see as taking possession of those weapons that they had? Does that go to the new government? Or
It's going to be the Board of Peace, mostly. It's going to be run by the Board. This Board of Peace has been it's led by some amazing people. Board of Peace.
Mr. President, you said they do have some capabilities left.
Yeah.
Should Americans be prepared for these back and forth attacks to continue until Iran simply isn't able of striking back?
They'll get weaker. They'll get a little stronger maybe now, but they'll get weaker and then they peter out. Yeah, sure. I think so. I mean, it'd be foolish to say no. You always have to keep your guard up.
What is the status of talks? Who from the administration?
Well, they
is
always
talking
want to talk,
Iran?
but they break their word so often. Steve is talking, Jared, we have very good people. JD's involved, very strongly involved. We have great people talking, Marco's involved.
Because they say talks aren't happening.
Very good people, we have the best people, but they'll make a deal. As an example, we'll talk about nuclear, and we'll be in there talking about nuclear for 7 hours. I say, why do you need 7? You can take 10 minutes, you have 5 minutes, you should solve it. But 7 hours, and then they'll go out, and I'll say, they discuss nuclear. And they'll go out and they'll say, we never discussed nuclear. And I say, why do they say that? All they do is make me angry. They just make me angry. Any other questions?
Do you believe that you can reach a deal with Iran, given that you talked about?
Yes, you can. I mean, look, I'm losing faith in them because they do lie and they do misrepresent. Well, the other day, the 5 missiles were shot. We knocked them down, but we were in the midst of a negotiation. I mean, I'm waiting for Steve to call me. How's the negotiation going? And instead, I got a call from Pete that they just shot 5 missiles at one of our bases in Jordan. We have bases in Jordan. Fortunately, our people operated the equipment. It's also very complex to operate. You know, you talk about the equipment. It's you have to be, oftentimes you see, when did you go to school? MIT, Caltech. I mean, you know, they go to schools that are not as normal for the military, to be honest with you. We have unbelievably brilliant people operating that equipment. And when you don't, you know, the equipment, the shots miss, the safety misses, or the accuracy misses. We have unbelievable people. Think of it, we had 111 at one point, a couple of months ago. 111 over a short period of time, missiles were shot at the Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier. Great, beautiful ship. One of the most beautiful ships to me, design-wise. 111 missiles going out. Out of the 111 missiles, 111 missiles were shot down quite a bit earlier than they got, I mean, long before they got there. They were shot down, it was almost, in a couple of cases, they were shot down almost as they were taking off. It's incredible technology. So you have a ship that costs billions of dollars, and you have missiles heading to it. 111 missiles were shot down, routinely shot down. And I spoke to the people. I like to reward people. I call them up. I'm the president. And they were cool as a cucumber.
Mr. President, the last 2 weeks of strikes by CENTCOM has said that those were meant to degrade Iran's ability to disrupt the Strait of Hormuz. How many more strikes will it take to
Well,
significantly?
you never know. Look, I mean, most people would have given up by then. You know, they've got no Navy, they got no Air Force. Most people would have given up. They haven't. So I give them credit for that. I mean, they're known as big tough. They're tough.
Back on Ukraine, what did you tell President Zelensky about the Patriots? Did you explain all of that to him? You're concerned
I
about-
spoke about Patriots. I spoke to him about Tomahawks. Spoke to him about everything. I also spoke to him about, let's get this war over with. So last month they had 25,000 people. It's averaging about 25,000 people a month die. Mostly soldiers, almost entirely. But you know, missiles are hitting areas also. But mostly soldiers. They had 25,000 soldiers. The month before that it was 32,000 soldiers. I said, you got to get this war over with. I think he wants to make a deal, and I think Putin wants to make a deal. But there's a lot of dislike, as you probably noticed.
He seems very reluctant to make concessions, President Putin.
Well, nobody wants to make concessions, but they're both going to have to make some concessions. I mean, you got to make a deal. 25,000 young, beautiful people, soldiers, mostly soldiers, are dying a month. It's, I ended 8 wars. That was the war I thought would maybe go first. And it really hasn't. It's gone less. I mean, I ended wars that were, in theory, much more difficult to end. We had a couple that were into the 30-year category. Well, the Congo, look at the Congo and Rwanda. That was our nasty war. And they have peace. I don't know how long that one's going to stay. But we ended India, Pakistan. 11 planes were shot down. That was raging. That was I used tariffs. I said, if you're going to go to war, 250% tariff to each of them. And they screamed and yelled and were very angry. They were both angry about it. And a day later they called and they said, we will not go to war. But I ended up, and the Prime Minister of Pakistan said I saved 50 million lives. Because that's 2 nuclear powers, serious nuclear powers. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Can you pull out?
Enjoy I don't. No, I think that Minnesota is behind it. You know who's behind it? Minnesota, because they're grossly incompetent. I think the governor's behind it. I don't think there was an Iranian cyber attack. I think that Minnesota ought to get its act together. It's one of the worst run states. JD will tell you. We found tremendous corruption in Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, just gave me a report. Massive future things having to do with corruption in Minnesota are happening right now. Thank you.
Have you
very much.
talked to Senator Fetterman about leaving the party?
Thank you.
All right. All right. Glad that wasn't too long. Didn't really get much out of that. Just it sounded like we were just flexing about weapons. So that's it. Why must you torture us, says Abu Zain. My man, I don't know what you're talking about. Cheers, mate. If you're already on BTCC, this 1984, and you said that in 24 hours there's been no reply on Telegram, let me have a look. But I would recommend just keeping that. No stress. I have not entered any new trades recently, so you're not really missing out on anything yet. But I guess it does make sense. You want to be in the group before I take my next potential trade in this market, guys. So I'll get back to you if you're already trading on BTCC or Kraken. GemmaGov, it was a bit of a nothing burger. Yeah, that's perfectly valid. Legends, so Bitcoin right now is getting a little bit of a bounce from that 62.5K pivot. So we effectively swept the local low and now we're getting a move. Now, this prior 4-hour candle was, let's keep it real, been pretty ugly. There's a lot of times where a candle like this can provide some relief afterwards, but you know, for us to get back above this big candle would require quite a lot. Let's see if we can carve out a bottom here. I have not entered any new trades here. I still have my 4 active positions in this market. I have a Bitcoin long from 58K, my big Bitcoin short, which I'm still holding, maintaining that position in this market, and actually looking to add to my existing short as per my previous video update. And more recently, we took a Bitcoin short at $66,800, which was so far the Pico top on this relief rally. So pretty happy with that. Aside from that, I also did incur a couple of losses on Hype and Macron. You guys know I will always talk about my wins and my losses on the channel. But if you want to join the community and see how I've been trading this market day by day, week by week as a swing trader, shorting every single relief rally of this bear market, and I think we're getting close to the end, make sure to join the community. It's the first link in the description down below. DM me the keyword BTC on Telegram if you'd like to join. Click this link, you're good to go, you're good to join. You also get access to all of the Mind Pillar tools, which is what I use for my own personal trades, and obviously spot portfolio investment. And I would say that honestly, that's a wrap for today's very quick live stream. I call it very quick because it's 3 hours and normally we go 4, 5, 6 FOMC. We did almost 7 hours. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. I hope everyone has a lovely Friday, and I will see you in the next one.